So we are live now.
All right.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Hi.
So, a very good evening, everyone. We are so excited to have you all here in the second lecture series organized by Rotary Club, which is a social service club of NIT Rourkela, in collaboration with ML4e, a official data science club of NIT Rourkela. I would like to extend a special welcome to our guest of honor, Salil Gautam, sir, who have won more than 30 product-based and data science hackathons and currently working as an associate scientist in Societe Generale Global Solution Center. And before beginning this session on data science, I would like to introduce about Rotary Club. It's a social service club, a non-profitable organization running by students with motive service above self. So, with no delay, we shall start the session. So, over to you, sir. It would be great if you could share few words about your experience and continue with your presentation.
All right. Sure. I guess I'll cover off most of my experience while my in my PPT. Thank you for all of you for inviting me for this event. I hope I'll be able to give justice to this topic. With this, I'll just share my screen. All right. So it's visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody is safe and fine. So the topic for today's my talk is breaking into data science, more specifically from a college student's point of view. I'll try to cover all the main points and things which I did, which really helped me to get into this field. A few things will be generic in nature, which can be applied if you want to get into some other field as well. Uh, with this, let's get started. Okay, I think I already had an introduction. So yes, I am a associate data scientist working at Societe Generale. It's a French investment bank with offices in Bangalore and Chennai. I'll be completing 1.5 years in the industry by end of this year. I passed out in 2019 from Army Institute of Technology, Pune, in computer science. I hope I'll be able to relate with your questions and current dilemmas as I'm a recent pass out. Coming to my achievements, to sum it all up, they come down to two things. One is internships, and other one is hackathons. I'll be focusing on them a lot in my upcoming slides. And I'm fairly active on LinkedIn and email. If anybody wants to contact me, feel free. So exactly. So what exactly is data science? I'm sure you must have heard of all these terms like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science everywhere. Even if you haven't started like your journey in this field, I'm sure you must have come across these all these jargons and words. Even when I started back in 2015, even I heard all of them. And what I was able to make out of it at my initial stage was that they're all related to each other. But the thing is that why do we even have unique names like four different names rather than if we can represent them just by a one word. Uh, so so this is a Venn diagram which you see on your left is something which gave me clarity back then. I hope it gives you the same. So what you can currently see is that artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are like subsets of the previous one, and you see data science which is cutting across these three circles. So we'll go one by one. So starting from artificial intelligence. So in one liner, what artificial intelligence means is that getting machines to do what humans are good at. So humans are good at it a lot of things. uh, but we our aim in artificial intelligence is to get that same level to the machines. So then there are two ways of doing it. One is narrow intelligence and the other one is general artificial intelligence. So in narrow intelligence we try to make machines good at a particular one task, whereas in general artificial intelligence we try to do it at a bigger level, like they're able to do multiple tasks. Then if you narrow down the scope of artificial intelligence, then machine learning comes into picture. So machine learning is as simple as like when you feed data to an algorithm so that it learns and predicts something. So in a one liner, machine learning is just an algorithm in which you feed data and it learns and tries to predict something. Then coming to deep learning, it's just a type of machine learning which is based on a specific kind of an architecture, which is inspired by neurons in our brain. But it is also a part of machine learning. It's nothing new. It's just a different kind of architecture. So over and all, the takeaway here is that these three things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, which I just talked about, are just scientific methods and processes and algorithms which have been there from a long time. Uh, like just to give an example, so you must have heard of Bayes theorem. In our high school, there used to a question used to come for 10 or 5 marks, I remember, on Bayes theorem. So Bayes theorem is was made by Thomas Bayes in mid 1700s. Then there is regressions you must have heard of in this field. They came up in 1800s. Neural networks, which I think most of you must have heard of, came in 1940s. So if they are so old, then why didn't we really use them back then? There are two reasons to it. One reason is data, and the other reason is compute. So these were the two things which are not available at that time, but are now there. Uh, Now coming to data science. So what we understood was that AI, ML, and DL are just scientific methods and processes and algorithms. Now, when you want to understand data science, you'll have to look it from a business lens. So in industry, any project, any company if takes undertakes a project, there's always a reason and a motive or a cause behind it. No project is done for fun. So when they were doing projects, they realized that we already have a good amount of these processes, scientific methods. Why don't we use them to solve our real world business problems? So this is when data science came into this is when data science term was coined. So the major thing is that in case if you're trying to solve any real world or business problem using these processes and scientific methods which are available, then you can call it as data science. And why are these terms so interchangeably used? Because, for example, if you're doing a data science use case, you're trying to solve a problem, and to solve that, you're using some deep learning architecture. So people use it in an interchangeable manner that they call it a deep learning problem, they call it a data science use case. So that is the reason why these terms are generally interchangeable and are used together. Before I move ahead, I just want to ask people like here who are live. I'm definitely sure you must have come across different use cases in your in I don't know if you've heard of it, or you must have if you have started your journey, you must have come across some use cases. If you can just mention some of them, like one I can mention is as simple as classifying emails if there is a ham or a spam. All right, I think everybody's new here. Okay, tumors. Okay, yeah, we can detect tumors. Correct. So okay, all right. So there are a lot of use cases in different fields. There are different domains. It can be in finance. It can be in healthcare. It can be in real like even in real estate, e-commerce. There are a lot of fields. I'll try to highlight two unusual use cases which I came across just to make you guys curious in case if you want to get into this field. So the title which you see here, I hope many of you are Potterheads. So the title which you see here is something which was generated by an AI. In fact, it's not just a title, it's a whole book with different chapters. So there's a company, Botanic Studio. They try to build entertainment material using data science. There's a community of artists and writers. So you can definitely check out this link. Second use case which I want to highlight is there's a site, thispersondoesnotexist.com. It's a site in which whenever you go on that site, it'll give you a new face of a person who never exists in this world. So this is also something which you can do if you get into this field. These are all like exciting things also which you can come across and understand why do they take place and how can you do them. uh, all right. So now coming to the real part, like which things which really helped me to get into this field, our internships and hackathon, which I as I mentioned. So I'll start with the internships. I'll try to highlight the main takeaways of from internships which I have, and I'll also try to share some short experiences, snippets of experiences in my journey. All right. Okay. Coming to the first point, which is start early. It is easier said than done. Definitely, it's always better if you can start early in your college days, internships. If you can start in your first year or second year, Even if you haven't, then also there's no you're not late, you can start now. The main reasons which I feel which you should start doing internships early are, you'll be one is you'll be more comfortable in your final year. You'll not be in a rush to rush behind jobs and get placements. You'll be more comfortable. The second reason is that when it comes to your final year, you will be in a position to choose which domain or a field you want to get into. So what generally happens is that like in case people are not really, they don't know what field they want to get into, they just sit for placements and then they get placed. But then it's the company who decides what you really do every day in your office life. It's not what you wanted to do. So if you can break it by getting to know early that what exactly you want to do, it's always better. uh, the second point is aim big, start small. So it'll never happen that you will get your first internship in your dream company or in your domain. It's very hard to get data science internships because of this competitive field everybody trying to get in. Even if you're lucky enough, then you're very lucky. It's not everybody gets it. So for this you'll have to start small. By start small, to start small, I want to mention here is that the aim which you should have in your first or second year is to get awareness, because awareness plays a very big role. So in my experience, about what I used to do was, I used to maintain a small text file in my laptop, in which I used to write all the words which I come across. So when you're in college, you'll meet different seniors, you'll watch YouTube videos, you'll see left and right, you'll see events happening, posts on LinkedIn. You'll get to know a lot of words, like a lot of words which you really don't know what do they mean. So it's always better if you can just start maintaining like a list of all those words, and then you can go back and search, Google them out, and get to know what exactly what is it about. Because the more aware you are, the better decisions you will take in your college life, because awareness plays a very good role. The second thing which you can do to start small is, there's a website which I really used to visit, was meetups.com. I'll share the link in the end. So there's a site, I don't know how many of you know about it, but it's a great like a play site in which the people host events similar to this, even more technical events. There are different groups and communities available there on based on different languages. There's a PyData group, Python group. There are different languages for different languages. So it's always good if you can start attending those early. They're all free. Nowadays, due to COVID, they're mostly all online, so you can attend any of its event happening all around the world. So it's you can definitely go and start visiting Meetup. You might meet more people and get to know more about more things, which you can venture into later on. The other things which I would recommend is, open a LinkedIn account and a GitHub account as soon as possible. Because what really happens in when you're in college, you generally only come to know things what your peers are doing. So for if you know your friend is doing X thing and your other friend is doing Y thing, you'll only know about those two things. But whereas if you visit LinkedIn or GitHub regularly, if you start visiting, you'll find what are people with your similar background all around the country, all around the world are doing. So you get more aware. It really helps you to take better decisions. And the last thing I would tell you is to watch YouTube videos. The list which you prepare, which I mentioned earlier, try searching these words out on YouTube. There's an amazing content available on YouTube. Go and start like just watching it, and you will make your own path thereafter. uh, don't rush towards courses in the starting that I should start this course. It's always better if you can first watch YouTube video and understand at your level what exactly do it mean, and then decide what to do next. Coming to the third point, which is safe place to experiments. So I feel internships are a great place. It's a very safe place to experiment. uh, so it's a great place to validate in case you're confusions around any field. So in college, what generally happens is that people get overwhelmed because they hear a lot of fields. For example, you hear of cybersecurity, you hear of machine learning, you hear of data science, and then you feel that which one should I get into? Because if you want to get it good into anything, you will have to spend time and invest like good amount of time in it. So it's always better in case if you do an internship, you will be able to validate your confusions. So try to do internships from a point of view that you want to validate your confusion whether I want to get into this field for a full-time job or not. Because once you get into a full-time role, you won't have that luxury to transit into a new career so easily, whereas in internships you can easily do it. The fourth point is convert indirect opportunities. So sometimes, so like mostly people ask me on LinkedIn that they are not getting a data science role directly. They are not getting a data science internship. They're getting some software development internships or some other internship. So how do I really get into data science then? So it'll never happen that, not never, but it'll be very tough in case if you're lucky. It'll mostly you'll get some other role initially. My advice would you to you would be take it up. So mostly all companies definitely have an internal data science team or a data team, or they might call it data analytics team. They'll always have it inside. So my advice would be to get into some other role, get inside the company as an intern. You go meet that internal data science team, try to show them showcase your skills, try to ask them for a side project, try to make connections, try to make friends. Or worst come worst, what you can try to do is that in case whatever team which you are interning with or whatever team you are working with, try to see their process, try to find data science use cases or machine learning use cases in their process, and try to showcase them. So it's not always that you will get your direct opportunity what you want. You will sometimes will have to convert it indirectly by showcasing your skill sets to specific certain people, so that they believe in you that okay, you are interested in it and you're good at it. You might then bring value to us. So this is one more point you should have in your mind. I have done it in my previous internships and it has worked. And it's always you'll have to indirectly you have to convert your opportunities in your way. Now coming to the point, how do you get internships? So the two things which really help me and should and in general very help people is LinkedIn and alumni network. I'll start with alumni network. So whenever you hear alumni network, the first thing which comes in your mind is referrals, which is obviously true. So every college, in fact, NIT Rourkela being a reputed college, will definitely have good alumni network, and they'll have good people at working at different good places. But the only thing which you have to understand is that what does referral mean? Referral basically means that I am vouching for somebody's skill set or credibility, saying that he or she is a good person for this role. So to build that credibility in some other person's mind, you'll have to you can't just message somebody one day directly saying that I'm from your college, please give me a referral. It's very unlikely that like he or she might reply, or even if she replies, they'll really help you, because they don't know your credibility, they don't know about your skill sets, you don't have a repo build with them. So it's always good in case if you in your early days in your college, you can definitely you should reach out to your alumni as early as possible. Try to build a repo with them, try to make them your mentor, try to ask them where do they work, try to understand what kind of tech stack or what kind of work do they do in their office, so that you have few alumni or few mentors which can really guide you. And when the time real time comes when you really need help for internships, they know that you're good at it and they might help you then. So this is how I would recommend you also to approach alumni networks. Always try to build a repo, try to find some good mentors where you can people who can guide you. And it's better if you do it in early stages of a college. The second point is LinkedIn. So how I used to use LinkedIn to get internships was something like definitely commenting interested, or I look at my profile in different comments on LinkedIn won't really help. What really helped me was so for example, if you have an interest in X, for example, let's take you have an interest in data science or machine learning. Try to find similar small companies, small startups and companies of similar interest, and try to make a list of them. Go to their sites, go to the sites, check what exactly are they doing. Go to their LinkedIn pages, see if they are what kind of things are they posting, what kind of like products are they working on. Go to their co-founders and founders LinkedIn pages, see what their qualifications are, when did they start this venture. After you have done your background work, you'll definitely find like a certain set of companies which really interest you. Some might get rejected, some might you might select. Once that list is done, one thing to notice that try to target smaller companies. I'll tell you why. So the next thing which you have to do is you should try to message the co-founders or founders directly, mentioning highlighting the fact that you really like what they are currently doing, and this is something which you also want to get into. You might message 10 people, only two or three might reply. To look at from a human tendency point of view is like for example, if I'm a founder or co-founder, if I see that college students are trying to they really like what I'm currently trying to do, and they really want to get help, they want to get involved in this, they might reply. I might feel good and I might reply to that person. I might give him an opportunity. So this is how you can, because your first or second internship is the most toughest part. The to get more internships later on when you already have experience on your resume is much easier. But to crack the first or second one, this is how I would recommend you to approach it. Try to find similar companies with your of similar to your interest. Try approaching their co-founders or founders or somebody at their higher designation directly. Uh, okay, coming to the second last point. So gone are the days when people used to do internships in their breaks. In fact, due to COVID, nowadays work from home and remote internships are more popular and preferred. So you might have to do internships, remote internships during your college semester also, and they're very common now. So that the stigma of doing an internship only once and in the last year is gone. So try to start as early as possible, as I mentioned, because I vouch you that you might have to reduce your social life after college, but trust me, it will be worth it after you get out of your college. Uh, Coming to the last point, boot camps and fellowship programs. So as I mentioned, internships are a great place to validate your interest, whether you are want to do it full time or not, or whether you really like it or not. So similarly, you can do boot camps at a smaller scale. So boot camps are generally like 2 or 5 days workshops, which they give you a generic flavor of the thing, and you really can get to know that what exactly is in it in this field, and do I really want to invest time here, because time is limited in your college. You'll have to optimize. So boot camps are a great way to get started on something in a fast manner. Coming to fellowships, fellowship programs are also a great opportunity for networking as well as gaining more knowledge. Few fellowship programs which I did, which I like to mention are one, there is an Intel AI Ambassador program. They give you Intel hardware. Give you conference tickets and all. It's a great place to showcase your projects also. Then there is an Incubate IND mentoring fellowship. So I think there are many other mentoring fellowships. So once you are in a third or your fourth year of your college life, you might be good at something. Try to get into a mentoring thing, because mentoring is like a feedback. People might ask you questions you might not know, but you might go and study and come back and answer them. So it's a feedback loop. Try to get into mentoring fellowships. In case if there's a group in your college, try to mentor your juniors. uh, this is a good culture to cultivate. And one more fellowship which I did was H2O.ai. It was like they gave me access to their driverless AI license key, which is an automated machine learning tool. That was also nice. So yeah, similarly, the end takeaway is that try to do boot camps and fellowship programs to validate your interest, and so that you have more knowledge and more awareness to decide what to do next. Okay, coming to the most interesting part, which is hackathons. First, before getting into my takeaways, I'll first try to like give a brief like what kind of hackathons have I seen in my college days until now. So generally, I've seen three kinds of hackathons. One is a product-based hackathon in which generally you're given a problem statement, multiple problem statements, and you'll have to choose one, and you'll have to develop a solution to solve that problem. That is generally a product-based hackathon. Then there is a data science like a machine learning leaderboard style hackathons which happen. They are generally similar to your competitive programming hackathons, in which you really have to build a model and submit something on your test set and get the highest metric to be up on the leaderboard. Then there is a third kind of hackathons which I've seen is which are cybersecurity ones, which are like capture the flag hackathons, which you really have to find vulnerabilities in the shortest time possible, and the more you find, the higher you go on the leaderboard. And then obviously there are mixtures of these two. Like for example, it can be a data science product based hackathon in which they might give you data science problem statements and tell you to build solutions. So these are the hackathons which I have come across. uh, Now coming to the takeaways here. So definitely here again I want to mention start early, so that you might be able to do more hackathons. You might be able to do more practice in whatever field you want to do get into. Second, the second point is dream team. So obviously, definitely you can go to hackathons as a lone wolf. You can participate alone, but I would always recommend when you start, it's better to have a team, because it really helps you to like uh, go get going, because you have similar people with similar mindsets to be along with you in your journey. So finding a team is also an iterative process, yeah, because you'll have to go with you'll have to test it out, you'll have to try it out with different people, and you might go to multiple hackathons to understand that who are the really people who really you gel along with, and they uh, so the one point which I want to mention is it's always better to have a team with diverse skill sets, so that you can complement each other's skill set, and in the time given you will be able to produce an optimum solution. So it's always try to find people with diverse skill sets. The second point which I want to mention is the team size. So the golden number which worked for me was 3. So what I've seen is that a team bigger than 3 is generally gets messier, and a team smaller than 3, size 3, generally becomes like you'll have to do more work in a less time. So for product based hackathons or hackathons in which you have to build solutions, 3 is a great number of a team size to start with. But you'll definitely have to go to 2 3 hackathons to figure out like who are the right people to form team with. Third point is industry exposure and networking. So what really happens in college is that when you do projects, you only think from a academia point of view. You really don't think from an industry point of view. Like there's a few nuances which you really come to know only when you join industry. But just to get a feel of it, hackathons are a great place to go. So in hackathons, you will find judges and mentors which will who will really tell you that this is exactly the pain point, or this is exactly the problem statement, so that you might be able to know like what kind of projects are out there. And then it also gives you motivation as well as more knowledge when you come back and do your college projects, because you exactly know what kind of solutions will really help outside. So and definitely you get to meet a lot of people. There's a lot of industry exposure. Fourth point is faster learning rate. What really worked well for me was that whenever I used to do courses, it used to take me a lot of time. Whereas in hackathons, when I used to like implement or learn on the go, my learning rate was much faster. So because hackathons are generally a time constrained event with 24 to 48 hours, and you have to do hands on. What I've seen is that if you participate more, your learning rate might get faster. There might be a point that you just look at documentations and you might start coding things out. So it'll really help. So definitely do try it. And one more thing I want to mention is that when you go back, when you finish a hackathon, definitely go and document your solution, in the sense that try to complete it in case if it's incomplete, uh, because it will help you in the next point which I want to mention. Hackathons are a great thing to like to do to fill space on your resume. Let's be honest, because you will have to form your resumes while applying to different things. So hackathons help you to fill achievements. In case if you win a hackathon, you'll able to fill in your achievement section. In case if you build a project, you'll definitely build a project in a hackathon. You can mention it on your GitHub. You can mention that project in your resume, and obviously it gives you LinkedIn bragging rights, which basically helps you to build your network on LinkedIn, because you'll be able to meet more like-minded people, and you will come to know what are they doing. So what in during my time, what I've realized was that there are a certain number of people every year, like 50 60 all over India, are the ones you will see they are the only ones that are participating in all hackathons all over India. So so the good part is that the more you participate, you will get to know them, and then they'll become your peer. And uh, and it's a great way. The more people you know, they might tell you that I'm doing this, you might also try it. So the better the peer group you have, the better decisions you will take. Reality check. Yeah, so hackathons are are a great place to check where do you really stand. So when you are in college, you generally just look at from a college point of view, and just try to see that where do I stand in my college. You really don't come to know that where do I really stand globally, or how good am I at something at a all India level. So hackathons are a great place to check that, validate it, and also to you also get to know your weaknesses, that okay, so this is something which if I work on, I might get better. Now coming to the most interesting part, which is hiring. Yes, you can get hired using hackathons. Generally what I have seen in like data science, if you want to get into data science roles, they generally have an online round first, and then they have an offline round. So in an online round, it's generally a leaderboard style, which I mentioned, which most of the people who have already started the journey must have seen. So you generally have to perform well. Then they generally call the top 20 30 people and for the offline round. and then there's generally an interview or a offline hackathon which leads to a like a job offer. So one good thing here is that hiring to hackathons really does not so in case if you're from a tier 3 or tier 2 college, hackathons are a place where everybody gets equivalent at a level, because you will find people with working experience, you will find people from second year. I've even in Bangalore I've seen people, students in 11th or 12th also coming to hackathons. They're in the schools, they're still coming to hackathons. So you'll find everybody at the same level in a hackathon. So it's a great place. The notions of you being from a different tier college, and some company might not accept you, these all go away when you go to hackathons, because hiring from hackathons are just based on skill. So the better you perform, the higher chance you have. With this, I'll come to the next part of my slide, which is a day in a life of a data scientist. I'll not cover the obvious data science life cycle, which many people who must have started their journey must be knowing, like things like data cleaning, filling missing values, building a model, deploying it. These are obvious things which you definitely will do if you get into this role. I would like to highlight some things which I were a shock to me, not exactly a shock, was something new to me, which I didn't know when I was in college, and I got to know when I was in the industry. I'll try to cover that highlights. Okay. The first point is domain knowledge. So like the one thing you have to remember is that, as I mentioned, AI, ML, DL, and ML, they are all scientific methods and procedures which you can use to and harness their power to solve problems. But in the end, you'll have to find a cause or a motive to apply them. So this is where domain comes into picture. So you'll have to focus on your domain knowledge. Any data scientist is only, or anybody in this field is only good in case if he knows his data well, and if he knows what kind of problem he's trying to solve. Going in technical details, so like it'll really helps you to do feature engineering. You really come to know what exactly I'm trying to solve. So try to always focus on the domain of the problem. So in case if you're trying to solve any problem, or you're trying to do any project, try to understand from a like a domain point of view, that why do I be doing it. I know technical parts come on later, but try to have this in your mind, because I realize that it's not just technical skills, it's domain knowledge also, which is really important if you want to get into this field. The second part is data quality issues. So it's very highly unlikely that you'll get like a train or a test CSV or a Excel sent on your mail to start any project in the industry, which really happens in hackathons or in your college projects, which you generally, when we just get a clean Excel or a CSV directly and we start our projects. So this won't happen in your in your live projects in your office. There'll always be data quality issues. You'll always have to find the data in the company. You'll always have to extract it, pull it, clean it, and then start your project. So it's not as simple as like other your hackathon projects or hackathons, or your college projects. So beware of it. You'll have to have some additional skill sets. You might have to know SQL. You might have to learn a bit of PySpark to build data pipelines. So these are all skill sets which you also might have to learn. So be prepared for it. The third point is stakeholder management. So stakeholder management is very important, because your success of your project is only is only defined by when you really help your stakeholder, like the client or whoever the person you are trying to help. It is not really judged by your accuracy or your metric which you are trying to build in your data science model. It is only, this project will only be completed when the other person who you are trying to do really gets happy about it. So you'll have to understand that part, and you'll have to do like proper stakeholder management. You'll have to talk to them, understand their pain points, because coming to the second last point, which is problem statement formulation. So why do you have to do stakeholder management effectively? Because in industry you won't get data science use cases directly. Nobody will tell you to build this or build that. Everybody will only try to give you that this is the process, and this is the main problem, or this is the pain point which we have. You tell me, you being a data science team, or you being a data scientist, how can you help me? So this is where your skills of problem statement formulation come into play. You will have to formulate the problem in a manner that data science or machine learning or any other thing can be applied. So to get a feel of it, hackathons are a great place because you there also you try to solve a problem statement, and then you try to build something which really relates with it. So have this in mind that you'll have to sometimes formulate problem statements on your own, uh, just by understanding what's the problem, what's the pain point of the client. The last point is interpretability. So like when we do hackathons, or when we do like uh, like competitions in general, we just try to get the best model possible. We just try to beat the metrics, try to get higher on the leaderboard. And what we try to do is we try to build very complex models, we try to write very complex code. But one thing which you really have to remember is interpretability, because in real life projects, whenever you're trying to do any kind of a data science implementation or a work, you'll always have to think of interpretability, because you have to make the client understand or make the stakeholder understand how do you arrive at this output. So just to give an example from a finance domain, so for example, if you are trying to build a model which tells you how risky is the client when you're trying to give a loan to him or her. So you get all the KYC information, you get all the details of the client, and then you feed it into the model, and the model tells you that this client is risky, don't give him the loan. You can't really go back to the client and tell him that, or the customer, and tell him that I can't give you loan because my machine learning model told me that you are a risky client. That person will definitely ask you that like, why are you saying so, give me a definite reason, like what is the reason that you are not giving me a loan. So this is where interpretability comes into the play. The more interpretable your models are, the better understanding you have of your model, that how is this output arrived, the better explanation you will be able to give to the other person. So always try to keep this also in mind while building any solution. Okay, now coming to one of the myth which I really want to like clear in people's head is, it's just my opinion. It can differ for other people. So these are all the different titles you must have heard in your like only seen on LinkedIn, or different seen on different job descriptions, like data analyst, data scientist, machine learning engineer, deep learning researcher. So what my take on all this is that these all are very like very specific to the company who is defining these roles. So there's a very thin line. So people generally try to say that data analyst is a person who really just does SQL and Excel, whereas data scientist is somebody who does the cool stuff. So it's not really like that. There are companies who like might give you a lead data scientist role, but still might tell you to work on Excel or just do SQL queries. uh, there might be like some company which gives you a data analyst role, but might tell you to deploy machine learning models. So it's very there's no clear definition in the industry for these titles. It really depends on the company. Now as a beginner, or as a like a finally a student, if you want to apply and you really want to know what exactly happens is, so the my take on it is, always read the job description carefully. uh, like just try to understand what kind of things do they really require. These are the things which you can really start doing early, so that you know that these are the skill sets which are required to get into this field or get into this job role. The second point is the other point is on ground reality check. So even job descriptions are very sometimes very confusing. People write a lot of different skills and to like skill sets required, whereas not everything is really used on ground in the job. So the best way to validate is, you'll it'll never happen that the role or the company which you are applying to, you are the first person in that team. It'll never happen. You can always find a similar person on LinkedIn with that same role, who might have worked in that company or who might be working in that company, might be an intern, might be a full-time employee. You'll definitely find somebody or the other. Try to message them, try to see their qualifications when they got into that company. Try to see like what kind of qualifications do they have, what are the things are they doing. You'll get to know everything from the LinkedIn account. Try to message 10 out of 10 of them. You might get like 2 3 like you might get replies from 2 3 people. Try to ask them that what exactly do they do under this role in the company. So this way you'll be able to definitely know that what exactly really happens under this title role, so you won't be get confused. So in case if you want to get into deep learning, try to see like in case which company is it, or which title or which role is it which really does this work. Because as I told mentioned that every company's these designations are quite different in nature, and the work defined under it is also quite different. So there's no one definition of every title. It really depends on the company. Coming to the last point, which is domain check. So as I mentioned, domain knowledge is very important. It's very crucial. Initially, when we come from technical engineering, when a technical college, from an engineering college, we generally think everything from a technical point of view. We really don't think it from a business point of view. That what exactly are we trying to achieve? We always think that if we can use this code, if we can use this data structure, if we can use this model, this is something which will bring the best result. So just to keep this in mind, you'll have to always think in back of your mind that what domain do you really want to get into? Do you want to get into healthcare? Do you want to get into fintech domain, finance domain? Do you want to get into e-commerce? It's not really you don't have to think too much when you get your first job, but later on, once you're in once you are inside the industry, you really have to keep an eye that what exactly domain do you really want to focus on in your upcoming years. Uh, so yeah, I'll be sharing a data science study plan. It's a study plan which I really refer to people who contact me on LinkedIn also. It is from a site KDD Nuggets. They have good blogs. So they have a study plan which is really nice. So you can definitely check it out. I'll share the PPT link. uh, 2 points which I really want to focus on is structure and patience. So when I started data science, I studied in a very wired manner. I started by doing complex things, which most of the people will definitely try to do, because nobody wants to use linear regression. Everybody wants to get into neural networks. So you'll feel that rush, and you'll definitely get into complex things first, and then you'll realize that there are some specific things which really some basics like statistics and maths you really don't need to know. So you'll have to go back and forth again and again. So this is a mistake which I did, which I really had to go back later on and fill all my gaps. So it's always better to go in a structured manner. Try to start from the basics. Try to start from statistics. Try to learn a programming language first, like Python or R, and then get into modeling and other like the cool stuff. Second thing is patience. It won't happen that in 1 month you'll get better. You'll have to go slow. You'll have to go like step by step. So even in hackathons, it's not gonna happen that you'll participate and you'll come in the top 50, you'll come in the top 10 or 3. It will be a gradual process. Every hackathon or every competition you do, your aim should be to beat your previous rank, irrespective of what others are doing. For example, if you came 500, your next aim should be beating that 500 rank. So be patient. Slowly, all your hard work will come back. Uh, this is the deck link which I'll share in the chat. Yeah, and these are the links which I mentioned during my talk. Like meetup.com, which I mentioned, is a definite site we should check out for different such events which are really happening nowadays. You'll get to know about different communities. Then these are the sites, like hackathon sites. I saw a few of the questions in the registration form mentioning that they really want to know what all sites they can go and do hackathons on. So these are the sites which I really used to check during my college days, and even now. Hacker Earth, Analytics Vidya, Kaggle, Skillinza, Machine Hack, Zindi, Data Driven, AI Crowd. Try to give them a try. Try to form teams. Try to discuss approaches within your friends. You'll definitely get better at it slowly. Uh, Overall, thanks for coming, and I can stop sharing my screen, and then we can start some Q&A. Yeah, Web, I'll put these links in the chat box. Sure.
Thank you, sir. It was a very nice presentation and it was very informative even. Sir, one of our teammates has a question for you. Himanshu, you can just proceed asking a question.
Uh, Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I wanted to know that how can we keep ourselves updated about the new happenings in the machine learning and data science field? Like how we will be knowing about new algorithms which are coming and how to use them. So, like, how will be keeping ourselves updated?
Okay. So few things which I used to do was, so like you must have heard of Medium. Medium is a great place where people put blogs about different stuff. You can definitely find follow some people on Medium. You'll get emails updating that they have written a new blog. The other better way is to follow people, good people on LinkedIn. They are definitely good amount of people who share like really good content on LinkedIn. So you can definitely follow them. So I also used to regularly check GitHub for newer projects for different people. I used to check as I mentioned LinkedIn. Other was Medium. So these are the few things which I think you'll definitely get to know what exactly is new is happening in this field. And then definitely once you get to know like a bit about it, you can definitely do a Google search later on. But I would suggest like following good people on GitHub and following good people on LinkedIn is a right way to do it.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you just tell us what are the challenges that we face in a midway if we just change the career to data science? And coming to this stream, the start of the career persuasion, what difficulties will we be facing, sir?
Okay. So are you asking from a college point of view? Are you if I see you're saying that you're from a different stream and you want to get into data science, or you are asking from
Yeah,
a
yeah.
you're already working?
No, sir. I am from a different stream, and I just want to
Okay.
join in data science.
Okay. Okay. So one question which people really ask me is that like people from computer science or IT, they ask me that data structures really important to get into data science, or is operating systems really important to get into data science? So the thing is that you have limited time in your college. Everybody has a different background. You might be from some different stream. You might be from some different. You might not be from a computer science or IT. You might be from some from other stream.
Yes.
You'll have to prioritize the way you get into this field. So one thing is common for everybody is statistics and maths. Definitely might have maths in your 10th or 12th. You can start from there. Uh, and difficulties, I would say, not really much. You just have to invest time. Python and R being very intuitive languages and very easy to learn, you can definitely get into. The only thing is that you might have to prioritize. Uh, Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the thing is that if you in case if you're from a different field, you might give importance to more complex things first, and then you might come back. But in case if you're from a different field, you're getting into data science. It's better to start from the basics, learn a Python programming language, and then get into it. And it's better if you start early in your college days. I don't feel there'll be like very any difference if you want to get it into it if you're not from a computer science background, because I'll give you an example, live example. Even in my office or in different industry, I've seen people from all backgrounds. They're from maths background, they're from chemical engineering, mechanical engineering. They're all doing good in this field. It's all about giving time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your information. And Ankita, can you just proceed with the question? Hello.
So I guess we can take up some question from the live chat.
All right.
So, sir, here is a question. How was your experience when you first participated in hackathon?
Okay. So the first hackathon which I went was I think in my second year, and courtesy one of my senior in my college, I had started studying data science a bit, but I was not so good at it. But like I asked one of my senior if I can come along with you. Okay, he said yes, and I we went to a hackathon in Bangalore. The only thing one thing my experience was that it was more of not exactly doing much at the hackathon. It was more of just looking at what other people are doing, uh, just to see that what how are different teams working on, what kind of languages, computer programming languages are they using, what kind of ideas are they using to solve the problem. So it was more of an exploration rather than like doing much on the ground. So for me, it was a great, like an enlightenment event in which I got to know what people are doing. So yes, you'll have to start small, and you'll have to just first initially go just to get a feel of it, and then later on you can then decide what you want to do. So this my experience was more on exploration side.
And thank you, sir. And Ashish Das, you can proceed with your question.
Like, what are the expected tech stack for a freshie data scientist? I mean, the one
Okay.
who's just graduating.
So two things which people really want is one is definitely problem solving, and like an analytical mindset in general. So you should try to think from a point of view, like you'll have to always think that why are we trying to solve it. Inquisitiveness is like one key element. And if you come to technical tech stack, a few things which people expect from you is that you have to be good at one of the programming language, which is Python or R. You'll have to be good at it. Second is some few projects. Projects are very key important. It basically tells you if you're good at implementing also. And other things which you really need to know is one might be SQL. SQL being a very popular thing, like people expect that you know like a such like small amount of DBMS, which is like database thing, which is SQL. Apart from that, I think hmm, then it really depends on the company. For example, if it's a company, if it's a startup who really working on deep learning, then they might expect you to know deep learning too. But in case if it's just an analytical firm, and not because most of the problems can be like most of the data science use cases can be solved without deep learning also. Uh, like so, it's okay if you just know basic machine learning. So overall, I would sum it up saying that you should know one programming language, problem solving mindset, SQL, and like your statistics should be clear. And in terms of modeling, in case if even if you know two or three models, you should know them completely from in and out. There's no need, you don't need to know like 10 different models, even if you know three or four, but you should know them like completely in and out, because interviewers generally ask you all sorts of questions, so you should be prepared for it.
Thank you, sir. Would you agree that using auto ML libraries would indeed harm one's creativity?
Okay, so AutoMail is something which I use in my competitions and different like not exactly in office, but I would say in competitions and hackathons. Uh, yes, AutoML. The way you should treat AutoML is that AutoML should be like a baseline for you, or like a faster way to do experiments. So you still might have to do feature engineering on yourself, because although there are automated feature engineering tools also available now, but in case if you have a better domain knowledge, you'll be able to do feature engineering in a better manner, because you know that this variable is something which really is helpful in predicting, because you know it from your domain, that the automated ML might not know. So I would suggest you to use it as your like companion, don't try to replace it with your current pipeline which you make. Try to use it to fasten your experiments, or try to use it as a baseline. Run like an automated ML model. Try to see what kind of accuracy or what kind of metrics is it achieving, and try to improve it on it. So this is how I would uh, feel on this topic. Yeah.
Okay, so sir, as a data scientist, one spends probably most of its time for feature engineering. And so there's just a minor question that to what extent one should go for it.
Okay, feature engineering is a key thing. In terms of competitions, the more is better. But obviously, you'll have to see if you'll have to also do feature selection, because not all features are very important. But feature engineering is something which you should really practice, because it gives you that mindset of extracting the most information from a less data. So definitely you should practice feature engineering in your competitions, because it really helps you when you do your daily job. You might get less data, you might have to extract more things out of it. Here these tools also really help you. You can use some automated tool to get feature engineering. You do the feature engineering part. uh, your domain knowledge will really help you. You might, the problem which you're trying to solve, go read about it online, try to see how people do it. You might get some idea, okay, like if this might be an important feature with this, with the domain respect. So yes, feature engineering is a very important and crucial thing. You should really focus on it.
Thank you, sir. Well, I have a last one from my side. Like, what is the difference between the two sectors, active sectors in data science, the competitive data science and the real-time business scenarios?
Okay. Yeah, this is a good, nice question. So like, yeah, when you do hackathons, assuming that you're asking this question, you definitely must have tried a few hackathons. You must have seen that one is that data, you get data in a very clean manner. You get like train test and sample submission files, and then you just have to like, you might do have to do some cleaning, but it still, you don't have to pull data. But in real projects, nobody gives you a Excel or a CSV. You'll have to pull your data. You'll might have to write some SQL queries, some Hive queries to extract the data and get it, and then get started on your project. This is one. The second thing is, in data science competitions, like the problem statement is very clear that this is your target variable and you have to predict it and create a great model. But in real world scenarios, nobody really tells you that this is the target variable, this is are the features, do it. Everybody will just tell you the problem statement that this is what we want to do, and then how can we optimize it. And then you will have to formulate the problem statement on your own. You'll have to look at the data. You'll have to see like what kind of a data science use case can it be, predicting what, or it's not always about predicting. It might be visualization, it might be some specific insight which might solve the problem. There's no need for a model. So these are the things which you really have to look at while doing a real life business project. And definitely one last thing which I mentioned in the slide was also interpretability. So not all, you can't build very very complex models which you really can't interpret, because in case if something breaks in a real time or a live project, uh, you will have to, if it's a simple model, then you can easily debug it and do it. Whereas in case if it's a complex model, it might take time. And in case if it's not interpretable, you might not be able to give like proper logic or reasoning behind the output it generates.
Thank you, sir. Ankita, you can take over.
So we'll take up another question from the live chat. Sir, Komal is asking that are job opportunities for data science same for non-circuital branch?
Yes, but the only thing is that you'll have to work hard more, because people from like a bit of programming like background, they might get into it faster. But it's not that it'll stop you. You can definitely start doing it. As I mentioned earlier, you can definitely start like the study planner which I'll share is, you can start reading about the statistics behind everything, math, statistics. Try to get a grasp on like a programming language. And trust me, there are companies who really don't really care from which branch are you coming from, in case if you are able to crack their interview. So I would say the playing field is quite even for everybody. It's not like you might get a disadvantage. The only thing is that you might have to work hard more, and for some higher roles you might have to learn more skills on the go. But for a like a getting into as a fresher, I would say that in case if you are good at hackathons, you are good at like the data science in general, in terms of projects and everything, you'll be able to make it.
And another question from Anshuman Tiwari. How do you came to know that data science is perfect for you?
Okay, this is something which I got to know from my internships. So, as I mentioned, that internships are a safe place to experiment, because you can really validate your interest in like in a short span, like in 2 months or in 1 month. You can easily validate whether this is something which I really like or I really want to do and continue doing it. So for me also, internships were like a place where I really got to know that yes, data science is something which I really want to continue. I did initially I did internships in like cryptography, cybersecurity, and all. Few in even I started with a small internship like content writing one. Then I did some internships in blockchain and also. So overall, like after doing like internships, when you end an internship, you might say that okay, I like blockchain, it's good, but this is not something which I really want to do full time. So I would suggest you that try to get some hands-on experience via an internship to really check whether this is what you want to really want to do.
Okay, sir. And the other question from Swati Malik. How data science can help common people in future?
I think data science is already helping. So see, data science is just an hyped up word. People might say that if you do model development, then only it's data science. Data analytics and insight is something which people who are not exactly in data science still are doing data science. So anything, if you're dealing with numbers on any level, then you might be doing some part of data science. So even people in digital marketing space or even people in ad management and everything, they're also in somewhat manner doing data analytics. You try to see how many views do you get on Facebook, you try to see how many likes do you get on Instagram. uh, People in those fields are also doing some kind of a data analytics. So I think data science is something which is helping everybody. You might not come to know, but most of your Google searches to everything is backed up by some AI solution. So it's not like it will help later on, it's already helping everybody in a massive manner. Indirectly, you in your daily life you're interacting with a lot of use cases unknowingly, but they are backed up by some machine learning or some data science use case. Yes.
And yeah, thank you, sir. And Shivanshu, you can proceed with your question.
Sir, these days while using like when we do machine learning, we simply just import our libraries and just implement it without completely knowing the maths. Like we have a basic idea of how it's working. Like for example, a decision tree, we just know how it splits the data on a given point, but we don't know the exact maths, like how it calculates the points and all. So like, is it necessary to know every math, like each bit of math with the model we are using to get while we get into a data science, or we just know how to use it and how the working is done?
My I mean, like, in case if you're just implementing initially, obviously, I would suggest like you'll start doing it, and you'll just do dot fit dot predict, and you'll get the output. There are few things which you might learn by changing parameters, and then you'll come to know, okay, when you change this will happen. When you change that, this will happen. But yes, if you come to an interview point of view, or if you want to get into a full-time role, you will have to understand how's the maths working behind it. When it comes to how much detail is something which really depends on you. There are blogs available online, there are materials, there are YouTube videos explaining the maths behind it. And trust me, it's not really tough. So if in case if you're mentioning decision tree, it's not really tough. It's you just have to understand how does it split, what are the different criterias behind it. And in case in when you I mean, like, just that's it. You just have to understand how does it split. And then coming to in terms of scikit-learn or some other package which you're trying to use, you'll have to understand what are the different parameters which are available, and try to go to the documentation of scikit-learn, try to read of different parameters, what does that parameter really mean, and then try to do a practice of, like, if in case if you change that parameter like up or down, what like an change does it have on the output. So it's an iterative process. And coming to the maths, yes, you will have to study, and you'll have to go in a bit of detail. So that is why I mentioned that it's okay to know just 5 or 6 models or 3 or 4 models, but it's better if you know them completely rather than knowing 10, 15 and you really don't know how do they work. So this is my take. Yes, you'll have to do it, Shivanshu.
Thank you, sir.
So, another question from Vasini. Apart from LinkedIn, what would be the best way to earn an internship?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, LinkedIn is definitely a prominent one. There's definitely one site, Internshala, which now is very crowded. Earlier, when I was in college, it for every every job or intern role which was available there were only 300, 400 applicants. But nowadays, I think they're in thousands. So yeah, you can definitely try out Internshala. But the only thing is it's very tough to get your first internship there because now the competition is a lot. A lot of people apply. So LinkedIn is one. Internshala can be your other one. Then you can the I think there's alumni network. There's a great thing which you can try. Alumni network, you might come to know what all opportunities are there. uh, then I feel that there are different Facebook groups. Like if you search intern groups, you'll find different Facebook intern groups there. It's not that people might give you jobs, it's just that more aware you will be. You'll come to know that okay, this on this site there's a career page and people are applying, let me also apply. So this is the other way. And the last way is definitely to directly go to the company site and then apply. uh, I think, yeah, these are the major places where you can really get internships.
Thank you, sir.
Jyotika,
And
as you have a question, can you just proceed for asking a question?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Sir, Jyotika has a question to ask you.
Okay.
sir, is knowledge of data structure expected from a fresher applying for data science role, like linked
Okay.
list search tree?
So now it depends on which kind of a company are you targeting. For product based companies, like if you say like these companies like Amazon, Google, and everything, these are the companies which are product based companies. There you will have to integrate your data science solutions when once you have done with the data science part of it. Hence, that is where when your data structures really come into play. So I would say for product based companies, yes, it's a must. But the only thing here is prioritization. So for example, if you're from a different field, you're not from computer science background, you're from a different engineering stream, and you want to get into data science, then I would suggest it's better that you like first learn a basic programming language, learn statistics, start learning some models, get a feel of data science. Once you are midway, then go back and learn data structures, because it's more of prioritization, because you need them first and you need data structures a bit later, because there are companies, like there are certain roles where you really don't require data structures much, but if you want to get into product based companies, you really require them. So in case if you, I would suggest, in case if you're from a different stream, then first focus on statistics and learning the analytical part of it, and then getting into data structures. For somebody who's already into a computer science or a IT field, IT in a stream, I would recommend that you are taught data structures as your course curriculum. Try to focus when they teach you that. Try to do some practice so that you have a base. Already you have a base when it comes to interviews, and then you can definitely focus on your time on your machine learning and data science skill set. So it's all a prioritization, and it really depends on which company are you applying to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experiences. And Ayush, Protect Ayush can continue with this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful session. It was very enriching and insightful and would definitely help us in our future endeavors. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope all your doubts and misconceptions are clear. Just a little housekeeping. Please fill up the feedback form in the comment section and subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming lecture series. Thank you.
And for people asking for the deck, I would just recommend the organizer if you can put that. I'll send you the slide link if you can put it in the description of the YouTube live stream.
Yeah,
Yes, I will
sure, sir.
definitely share it.
Sure.
All right, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for calling me. I hope I was able to clear some of the doubts related to this field. And for people who want to ask them some specific technical doubt or something, they can definitely contact me on LinkedIn. I'm fairly active. I'll share my LinkedIn link also with the organizers. They can put it in the description.
Sure, sir, we'll definitely do it.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.